I am Prakash Gamwali. Today we are learning how to convert ER diagram to relation sigma. Here is the ER diagram of Jaggi Retail Company Sales Department. So let's convert ER diagram into relational schema. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entities, and it have one to many and many to many attribute. By follow the diagram, let's create the table for all entities right here. So we have, at first we have region, so let's create the table for region. For this one, let's go and click on entity relation and choose the first table. So we are going to make a table for entity for region. So our primary key of the region will be region ID and its attribute will be region name. Okay, let's make attribute will be region name. We can delete the extra row to make our table neat and clean. Okay. Okay, let's create the table for another entity. We have store and its primary key will be store ID and attribute will be store zip, and since store and region they are connected each other, that's why our foreign key will be region ID. Okay, let's make the table. Our table name will be store, store, store. Primary key will be store ID, store ID. Our attribute will be store zip, store IPzip, and it connected with store connected with region. That's why region ID will be our foreign key. REGION region ID will be our foreign key. Let's delete the extra hello. Okay, let's put some here. Okay, now our next entity is product. Product, its primary key will be product ID and it have various attribute, and it have relations with vendor and category. Let's make the table for product. Our table name will be PRODUCT product. Primary key will be product ID, PRODUCT product ID. We have attribute product price and product name. And product is connected with vendor and connected with category. So vendor ID and category ID will be our foreign key. It will be our foreign key. Let's make duplicate and category ID. ID also will be our foreign key. Okay. Now we have another attribute includes which have relation with sales transaction and product. So let's make the, and it have only one attribute. Let's make the table for include. Include. We have only foreign key. We don't have any primary key for this one. Product ID. We have product ID because it have relation with sales transaction and product. Product ID will be our foreign key and TID will be our also foreign key, and we have only one attribute, quantity. Let's delete the extra row. Okay, now we have another entity of sales transaction. So let's make the table for the sales transaction the same way. Okay, for sales transaction. Okay. Let's make space for our okay, and let's adjust the table properly. Okay, sales transaction. Okay, for the table of sales transaction, we have TID will be our primary key and TDate will be our attribute, and it connected with it connected with customer and store. That's why store ID and customer ID will be our foreign key. Okay, TID TDate store ID will be our foreign key. Let's capitalize foreign key, and customer ID also id will be also our foreign key. After that, okay, let's make the, okay, we have another entity, vendor. So let's make the table for vendor. Okay. For vendor, we have vendor ID will be our primary key, and we have only one attribute, vendor name. Vendor name. Let's delete the extra row. Let's make adjustment. Okay. Now we have, now our next entity will be category. Mhm. Let's create a table for category entity. So for category, we have category ID will be our primary key, and category name will be our attribute. Category ID, see, category ID, it is our primary key, and category name will be our attribute. So let's delete the extra. Okay. Then at last, we have our last entity, customer. We have uh, customer ID as a primary key, and customer name and customer zip will be as attribute. Okay, let's create a table for customer. Okay, customer ID will be our customer ID primary key, and we have two attributes, customer name and customer zip. Customer, let's delete the extra row. Okay, now by following the ER diagram, I already create the table for all entity. Now it's time to connect all the, make connection between primary key and foreign key. Okay, let's make connection foreign with primary key. Okay, let's make good adjustment which will make our diagram more clear. Okay, we connect uh, foreign key of store table and primary key of region, because they have connection, they have relationship to each other. Now next, I will connect. You can see here product have relationship with vendor ID, and it have another relationship with category ID. So let's connect product ID. Okay. Let's make the code as an adjustment. Let's make the line straight. It will look very clear. Then next will be TID and TID. Okay. We connect product ID and TID of their foreign key and primary key. It's because product it have relationship with vendor ID and it have relationship with category ID. So next will be I will connect Easter ID to I will connect Easter ID because Easter ID Easter ID it have relationship with sales transaction. That's why I will make connection with Easter and sales transaction. Easter ID. Okay. Let's connect. Okay. Now sales transaction it have relationship with customer ID. So let's make them connection. Sales transaction customer ID. Okay. And product it have relationship with vendor. So let's connect product ID with vendor, and product it have relationship with category ID. So let's connect product uh, product table and category table. Okay, by follow the ER diagram of a Jag retail company sales department, we create relational schema of a Jag retail company sales department. So here is our relational schema, which is completed. If you have any question, please comment. I will answer it as soon as possible. Thank you.